Be touched by the powerful journey of the melancholic tree and discover how a simple reflection can transform your day. Get ready for an inspiring story that will warm your heart and renew your hope. Be sure to watch and allow yourself to be enveloped by this exciting narrative. Your life is about to be illuminated by a new perspective. In the middle of this enchanting garden, where each ray of sunlight seemed to delicately caress the leaves and the aroma of the flowers soothed the senses, a spectacle of nature unfolded. The apple trees boasted their branches loaded with juicy apples, seemingly inviting for a delicious bite. Orange trees displayed their golden fruits like shining treasures, while fig trees exuded promises of new beginnings with their green shoots eager to blossom. And the rose bushes, oh, the rose bushes! They were like delicate ballerinas, with their petals dancing a gentle choreography in the wind. But amidst this symphony of life and color, one tree stood alone and shrouded in shadow. While her companions displayed their exuberance and purpose, she found herself plunged into a deep melancholy. While the apple trees boasted of their juicy apples and the orange trees glittered with their golden fruits, this tree found itself lost in a sea of doubts. She longed to discover her true identity and understand her role in that garden so vibrant and full of life. While the apple trees whispered among themselves, sharing secrets about the sweet and juicy flavor of their ripe apples, the orange trees proudly displayed their sparkling fruits, like true jewels of nature. Amidst the spectacle of colors and fragrances, a solitary tree stood out, enveloped in an aura of sadness and confusion. Observing her companions in awe, she tried to imitate their beauty and productivity, but her efforts only led to a profound sense of helplessness and failure. As the sun shed its light over the garden, painting it with vibrant hues and comforting warmth, the birds sang joyful melodies, filling the air with their enchanting music. However, despite this idyllic setting, the lonely tree found itself immersed in an inner darkness, where its sadness seemed to overshadow all the beauty around it. It was as if a dense shadow enveloped her, making her invisible to the eyes of the other living beings that inhabited the garden. With each passing day, the tree sank deeper into loneliness and hopelessness, unable to find its place in the lush world that surrounded it. Its branches, once held high with pride, now bowed under the weight of its emotional burden, while its leaves rustled in despair in the gentle wind. In the midst of this internal struggle, she longed for a light of hope, for guidance that could dispel the darkness that enveloped her. In the midst of this confusion and sadness, the tree yearned for answers, desperately seeking to understand its purpose and identity in that beautiful garden where it was located. It was then that she heard the whispers of the apple trees, who shared among themselves the secrets of the sweetness of their apples. It's easy to make delicious apples. Why not try? The temptation to follow this advice was great, but the rose tree intervened with her opinion. You don't listen to her. It's better to have roses. Don't you see how beautiful they are? Desperate to find its place and its essence, the tree decided to try to follow the advice of the other trees. She tried her best, dedicating all her energy to producing juicy fruit like apple trees, but her efforts only resulted in failure and disappointment. Inspired by the beauty of roses, she tried to bloom with vibrant colors and captivating scents, but all she got were withered, pale buds, which only added to her sadness and despondency. Each failed attempt plunged her deeper into the darkness of uncertainty, making her question her own existence in the garden. With each failure, the tree felt itself sinking deeper into the darkness of dismay. Each failed attempt was like a wound in his heart, a deep pain that seemed to grow every day. While the other trees around her grew happily and strong, she found herself stagnant, as if she were trapped in a tangle of uncertainties in the middle of that green exuberance. The weight of sadness was reflected in the bent branches, which seemed to sag under the emotional burden, and its once vibrant leaves now rustled sadly in the gentle breath of the wind. Each dawn brought with it a new wave of discouragement and melancholy. The tree felt out of place, as if it didn't belong in that place of exuberant beauty. Even though she shared the same fertile soil with the other trees, she saw herself as a stranger, an intruder in her own vegetable home. The scenery around him, although stunning, only amplified his sense of inadequacy and loneliness. Despite the mist of sadness that enveloped the tree, a tiny thread of hope persisted in shining within it. Deep down, where almost no one can see, this flame of optimism was still burning, like a guiding star indicating the way forward. It was as if a small voice whispered inside her, reminding her that she was unique, with a special purpose all her own, waiting to be discovered and embraced. Even in the midst of so much uncertainty and darkness, this little inner light persisted, timidly illuminating the path toward self-knowledge. Then one day something extraordinary happened in the garden. An owl, wise and imposing, sat on a branch near the lonely tree. Her piercing eyes caught the sadness emanating from the tree, and in her serene voice, she said, "You don't let it get you down, my friend. Know that you are not alone on this journey. Many others also feel lost like you. But I have a suggestion. Instead of trying to conform to other people's standards, be authentically yourself. Listen carefully to the voice that echoes within you, as it is the voice that will reveal your gifts and your mission in this world." And so, with his wise words, the owl disappeared, leaving behind a trail of reflection and hope. The tree, in the midst of its confusion and questions, asked itself, "Am my inner voice? Being myself? Knowing myself? Vocation? Mission?" In a moment of deep silence, as if she were isolating herself from the outside world, she focused and immersed herself. Closing her eyes and ears to the world around her, she was able to tune into a soft, comforting voice that echoed deep within her heart. And it was then that this inner voice, almost like a whisper, began to make itself heard. "You will never bear apples, because you are not an apple tree. And you will not bloom in the spring, because you are not a rose bush. You are an oak tree," said the voice serenely, as if revealing a long-kept secret. "Your mission is to grow, to become very big and majestic. To provide shelter for the birds, shade for those passing by, and beauty for the landscape. That's what you came here to do. Now you just have to figure out how to make it happen." With these words, the tree felt as if a weight had been lifted from its shoulders. A sense of purpose and clarity began to blossom within her. She no longer needed to compare herself to other trees, trying to imitate their characteristics and abilities. Instead, she finally understood that her true greatness lay in being exactly who she was, an oak, destined to fulfill her unique and essential role in the web of life. Following this profound revelation, coming from the core of its being, the tree felt a wave of revitalizing energy course through every inch of its trunk and roots, as if a source of renewed power had been unleashed within it. An indomitable strength and unshakable confidence flooded her essence, sweeping away all the melancholy that had previously consumed her. Raising her crown in a majestic gesture, she seemed to proclaim to the world her new determination and courage. With a rekindled purpose, the tree dove headfirst into what it now understood to be its true calling. Every fiber of his being dedicated himself tirelessly to the path he knew was his genuine destiny. She channeled all her vitality into growing even larger, spreading her branches with renewed vigor and sinking her roots even deeper into the earth that supported her. Each new sprout that emerged was like a living witness to her inner transformation, a tangible representation of her new understanding of herself and her purpose in the world. As time progressed, the tree blossomed to its fullest. Its branches extended even further, forming a generous canopy that offered shade and refuge to all who sought shelter from the scorching sun. Birds wove their nests in the cozy corners of its branches, finding a safe and comforting home there. The tree's leaves danced in the wind, creating a gentle symphony that echoed gratitude for the new life they had been given. With each dawn, the tree took on renewed beauty, as if each ray of sunlight kissed it with a celestial light. She stood tall in the garden like a true queen, lighting up every dark corner with her radiant splendor. The other trees looked at her with admiration and respect, recognizing the grandeur and majesty she had achieved with her incredible transformation. Soon, the entire garden community gathered around the tree, celebrating the miracle they witnessed. She was no longer a lonely figure, immersed in sadness and uncertainty. Now, she was like a beacon of hope and authenticity, radiating her light to all beings who shared that green space. Then something incredible happened. That tree, which was previously half lost in the darkness of the garden, suddenly transformed into a true symbol of renewal and growth. Everyone in the garden was deeply touched by her journey, understanding that it is crucial to be authentic and follow our own dreams. It was a powerful reminder of how important it is to know yourself and embrace who you truly are. You know, each of us is unique, with our own quirks and talents. Comparing ourselves to others all the time only leaves us feeling down, as if we are always trying to fit into a mold that wasn't made for us. And this only brings dissatisfaction, because deep down we know that we are trying to be something we are not. So, check it out. When we truly dedicate ourselves to understanding who we are and what our role is in this life, then things really start to make sense, and happiness knocks on our door. Instead of molding ourselves to fit into standards that are not ours, the best thing is to explore what makes us unique and follow our own path. You know, when we embrace our authenticity, not only do we feel good about ourselves, but we also contribute to a much cooler world, where each person shines in their own way. It's as if each one was a unique piece of this giant puzzle called life, and when everyone discovers their role and fits together, the picture becomes even more beautiful. Therefore, the moral of this story is super important. Discover who you really are, embrace your differences and talents, and follow your own journey, because that is where your true mission in this world lies. If you found yourself caught up in the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel to ensure you don't miss out on any of the fascinating content and heart-touching stories. Your participation is crucial to encourage us to spread more positive messages like this. And don't forget to show your support by giving a like if the video made you happy, and sharing it with everyone around you so that more people can feel inspired by this incredible story. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. May God's blessing be with you always.